Alright, hello and welcome to another edition of the Smart Helping Excel Models. As you know, this is more along the lines of what I do on my day job, and I've decided to try to scale this in a way where I'm offering some of the more universal models that I've built from scratch to businesses that want to use it on an ongoing basis. I simply will charge a one-time fee, which I'm thinking this one's going to be around $249.99, and then with that fee, I will offer 5 hours of free service to get any questions you have answered. Get this set up so it actually works for your specific situation because there's a lot of different variables with inventory tracking. But with this, I've tried to make it simple enough so it can work in pretty much anything where you have inventory being purchased or made and then used up. So inventory going up and down of certain SKUs or products or whatever. It could be raw materials. So here's how it works. First, we have the input card, and I've set this up for just a mock-up of 1,000 different products here. So you can pick a product. I have it right now so that the cost per item automatically updates based on a lookup of the product and whatever its cost per item is. Now that in itself could be even more dynamic, and there could be a whole bunch of different tables. And if you have discounts or want to automate the discounting and say, well, if you purchase this amount of a certain product, then the cost per item is X. That can all be automated, and all you'd have to do is pick the product and the amount, and it'll put in the cost per item and the total cost. So if this is 50. Anyway, so first things first, you pick your product. Then you hit the date that the product is either being used or entered. So what is the date that this is impacting your overall inventory levels? Let's say you just bought 50 XYZ123 widgets on, let's say, January 30th, 2016. 50 of them, cost per items 3, total cost 30, and then we just have a name. You can put in whatever widget, green. This is all input by you manually. So once you have all the information in here, what do? Just like in an ERP system, you save it. But instead of saving it with Excel, you just hit this button, enter to inventory. Now what that has done is just taken all this information and then put it into an inventory database. Now, stand by. Okay, here we go now. So we hit this. And now we should be able to see in our inventory database. There we go. So now what's happened here? Product 3. Let's just do XYZ. What is going on here? Oh, hold on. Gotta fix the macro. Hold on, stand by. Okay, here we go. Now, sorry, it just takes a little bit of developing to get this thing tightened up. Is because I had adjusted the format on my columns before I did the video, and that changed where these, the whole flow, but I just adjusted it. So if we hit our enter button, you'll see we should see the SKU, the date, and all this information go through to the database, and you can see it does right there. Makes a new line. Let's say we have another item. Let's say it is product 954, and we're going to purchase 150 of them on, let's say, August 30th, 2016, and their name is widget 3 with yellow and plastic and hard. Enter that. Now that should update right on the inventory database, and look at that. Product 954, August 30th, 150. The costs. Widget 3, different than just widget, and then you can see yellow, plastic, hard, all pops in right there. So that's our database. Now that'll come through. You can just fill it in, 100,000 rows would be no problem for each, so you can have plenty of transactions. Then from the inventory database, I've created a general summary, and I've put comments on all this for those who purchase the template that explains each column. And basically you have your SKU here, all your different products, and then reporting on each product. You have the cost per item. This is what is going to pull into the input card as of right now, but like I said, that could be updated in a whole bunch of different ways to get your cost per item and then your total cost. These could be hard put in if you want, if that's how you want to track or how your inventory is set up, so it's just easier to do it that way. That would be fine, but that's where that is currently pulling. Then you have your count of inventory. This just looks at every SKU and then sums up the net purchased and sold. So you can see right now, the best way to explain this is just to use it. So I'll show you. So for product 1, it says we have a count of 15 in inventory. So let's go ahead and let's say we use product 1 or sell it or whatever. It just leaves the inventory. Let's say we use 10 of it. So we do -10 since it's being used. And I think that was a widget, just regular widget. And then whatever colors, it doesn't matter. It's just to demonstrate the point. So now if we enter that into inventory, it goes into our database, and then if you look at our general summary, look at that. Product 1 now only has 5 in inventory because we just used 10 of it. The value of the inventory is simply going to sum up the total cost. So that's going to pull from your database on total cost. And then you have another thing that says average cost per item, which is going to be important if you're trying to figure out the value of your inventory or value per item, and you have varying costs of the same item over time. This will show you what the total cost was every time you bought it or made it, or however you got to that total cost in the database line of total cost for the input card, this number right here. And then it's going to divide it by the total count of that inventory. So you can see right here, since nothing's changing as far as the cost, the amount of inventory, you're always going to see $4.12 for like this one on your total cost. If that were to change, then there would be a different net cost here, and you would get a different cost per item. But all this is going to be really dependent on your specific business and how you're valuing everything. That's why I include the 5 hours of service, because it'll probably take some fine-tuning of the formulas and massaging of the formulas to make sure they fit your business needs. But that's just one way to do an average cost. It's just kind of like an add-on column. Then we have date. So you can actually pick the date you want to report, and it will only pull numbers from before that date. And since inventory kind of tracks through time, it's not really that relevant to have a start and an end date. You basically just have your inventory, and it just tracks forever up and down. So based on this date, and let's see what kind of dates we have in here. So let's say we just want to look at January. We'll do January 30th, 2016. Now you can see that's only going to report values of inventory movement that have happened before on January 30th or sooner. What you can see is only these two items right here, product 9 and product 1. well, we got 9, 1, and then we got 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z happened on January 30th as well. You can see it down here on that date. And these are all hard. The database is all completely free data based on the input card, but it's not going to mess anything up. You can clear a row if you ended up entering a row in error. You can clear it. You can adjust it any way you want. Any of these things, any of these header columns can be changed based on if you need to fix something, or like I said, an error happened. If you could just, you can clear this off, you can delete it, clear it. It doesn't matter. It won't hurt anything if you do that, because everything else is summing based on total columns and values in the date and product ID. But it's not going to hurt it if you need to adjust this database for whatever reason. So I guess that's, oh, and then finally I did do a monthly summary here, and this just takes into account your net value per month for every product. So this is saying the net bought and sold, what's the net value that you still have, and then it's summing up the total for your whole business at the top row. And then I've tracked that in a visual. You can see here it goes by month and says what is your total inventory value. So right now, obviously 50,000 because it's got that big big purchase. What do we do that on? Oh, we got to change the date. Let's go back out to 18. And what did we do that on? Let me see. 50,000 was on, oh, product 954. So we should be able to go down to product 954. Yep. Oh, there it is. So 954, 150. Now let's say we use product 954 in the future. It's going to track the usage. So actually what this visual does is it tracks the usage or purchases on a month by month basis, but it is not a running total. Which is why, see, what this is why it's good to actually explain this by using it, so that I can better explain what is actually happening and how this works. So if we go to 954, let's say we use 25 and hit enter. Now we go to our monthly or our general summary. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put a minus there. Let's do minus 50. There we go. So now the value is only 125. We have our cost, and the cost per item is obviously the same as input at this moment. So now, if we look at our visual, that's down. But let's say I use 20 up in 2 months in October. Now the visual is going to say the net amount used of inventory in October was this, or the net flow of inventory. So it's not a running total, but it's the net change. It's the net monthly change, which makes sense because this is just summing up everything that's happened for each product for each month. If you want to track your net value of inventory on the general summary, that's how we would do that. And that simply is a matter of picking the date. Just pick the latest date, and then it'll total your entire value of inventory at a given date. I'm trying to think. Now there is a way to value. We can track the trying to think how we would do this. I don't know if there's actually a way to show the balance change over time. Let me think here. It would definitely be something with the monthly summary. And this is, I mean, I just started developing this sheet the past couple hours, so it's not 1,000,000% refined, but it will give you a nice way to keep track of what products you have, at least in the count of it. I'm just trying to think how to fine tune this. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Check it out now. I have made it so the inventory now has a running balance, so you can see the net change. So obviously if we start here on the first month, we have all these inventory changes. It results in a balance at the end of the month, 318. Now if you go to the next month, it's going to go 318 plus whatever has been the net change on all products, which was none for February. Let's go to March. It says, well, we added a net of $12.50 to inventory. Now inventory is 330. 330 again in April, no change. Then in May, we have 4,100 net added. So that updates the balance. And then let's say, look at this. We've used 2,058. So if you do 2,058 minus your 4,400, you're at 2,389. Right? So this balance plus the change. Yep, 2,389.17. That's the right number. And it just tracks it over time. So here we're at 2,000, then we added net of 44,000 on the big purchase of the product, 954. So the net change of positive 42. We're at 44 in August, September 44. Now we use 6,000 in October. So the visual now tracks, the bars will give you the net change month to month, and the line will give you the running inventory balance. And I've done the same thing, but instead of doing dollar summary, I've also added a monthly count. So this is just the number per product, and then the sum balance, or the sum net change for the month, and then the running balance. And it works the same exact way, but it's just using unit dollar, or units or product units instead of dollar amount. And the visual down here, it does the same thing, but it gives you the count instead of by dollar amount. So that pretty much does everything that needs to be tracked. And all the user has to do is input this information correctly and hit the inventory button. And then everything else updates. You can update your general summary. You'd also change this date, and that's it. So the input cards and the date. Everything else is completely automated. I've got to go now a couple years, and really you could change, if you change this date to any date, all the future dates will update on a month by month basis. You can see here if I go to first month, say 17, updates everything. So fully functional, nice. This is the primary reason for this is to help businesses simply track what they've got, track the values. It could be used also to assist in your accounting reports. The main thing people are going to be able to do is a business owner or whoever is tracking the inventory is going to be able to quickly see what is available of different products in the general summary, the count available, so they don't, order stuff that they already have. And they can obviously reconcile this against their visual inventory and make adjustments on the input card as well. And you can go into the database, it's just one tab, and look at why something is showing up a certain way and adjust it if it needs fixed. So very versatile, very user friendly, completely functional, and I think it's any business that has to track their inventory in any way, this is a great tool to help you stay organized and on top of everything. The numbers don't lie, as they say. I guess that's it. If you want to purchase the template, just go click through the description box link below, and it'll take you to smarthelping.com, which is where I sell it. You can purchase it. I accept all credit cards, bank cards, anything, any kind of card, and I'll send you the sheet via email. We can talk over the phone, one-on-one. Like I said, I offer 5 hours of free service included in the cost of the spreadsheet. Alright, that's all I got for you. It's the inventory management tool from smarthelping.com. Have a great day.